There have been journals or an extract of a journal that was being shared as I was accepting the stage. So please read through it. I believe that conversations about money are personal. They are often emotional and uncomfortable. Talking about money is not comfortable. I think for me, I always tell my colleagues, I don't mind asking for money from my clients, but it's very difficult to have an honest, open conversation about money with my peers. For us to be open about money and talk about financial freedom and what that brings, the comfort money brings. It's a very uncomfortable subject to talk about, and oftentimes we shy away from it because I'm scared that if I now start talking about money, you'll start thinking of your problems that need money. So I think today what I hope to achieve just for this MC didn't give me also focus on what we have and how do we get to where we want to be, right? Because money brings a lot to the table, right? So I want to share scriptures. Please read these scriptures when you get home so that I save a bit of time. Proverbs 15 verse 27. Proverbs 28 verse 20 and Proverbs 22 verse 7 and Malachi 3 verse 10. I think this one we are all familiar with, right? So I just want to talk about what money brings to the table, or my relationship with money. Let me make it personal, right? Money brings freedom. Money brings freedom. Most often we dwell or we stay in toxic situations because we don't have that freedom to walk away. Be it in our workplace or in our families, it could be anywhere. But when you have money, you have the freedom to say, not this one. Here, I'm not doing that. I can walk away from this. I can walk away from this toxic situation, which is at times even our workplaces, right? Money brings power. Money brings power. And I think that verse that I shared must coincide with what I'm saying when it comes to power. You must remain humble, but you must understand money brings power. Why am I saying money brings power? You gain a voice when you have money. I like giving an example with country clubs, right? Country clubs have a membership fee. Yeah? Most people can afford the fee, but they don't meet the requirements because they look at your net worth, right? You might have great ideas, but because you don't have a seat at the table, your ideas go to waste. Last week, what I wanted to talk about, the prophet talked about almost everything I had prepared. He talked about it, right? Money brings power. That's the reason why even when you go to stores or you have store accounts, they say buying power. Because at that point in time, you have the power, you have the authority to spend that money. So money gives you a seat at the table, right? And you get to control your future. One of the Bible verses that I shared, right, is Proverbs 15 verse 27, where Proverbs 22 verse 7, where it says, just as the rich rule the poor, so the borrower is a servant to the lender. Okay? We become servants to our lenders, right? You become a servant to all your debts. You become a servant to all who have, right? So it's very important that we seek out that freedom when it comes to our finances. What I shared with you is a personal thing that you have to introspect and say, what does financial freedom mean to me? What do I need to do? And if you do this, maybe not on a daily basis, but on a weekly basis, you are able to reflect. You are able to take account of what you need to do to get to where you want to. Money also brings legacy. Okay, the mom is in the house. Okay, I'm a mom. When I found out that I am expecting, I had a very weird pregnancy. I found out at 6 months I had a cryptic pregnancy, right? The first question I asked myself is, am I prepared? Right? And because I have a healthy relationship with money, it was easy for me to accept that, okay, I just have 3 months to prepare, right? And at the same time, I'm saying, how do I create wealth for this child that God has blessed us with? How do we create wealth? What do we need to do to create wealth? If I were to leave this earth tomorrow, is the future of my child secured? I'm talking about it from a perspective of a mother. But from your perspective as well, you can introspect to say, I want to leave a mark. How do I create a legacy? How will people remember me? What have I done? What lasting legacy have I created? It does not have to be money. It could be the time you're investing into different activities, right? So those 3 things are very important to think about. Legacy, power, and freedom when it comes to money. Okay? So I want us to take a step back. I want to advise so that we move from maybe where we are, we shift to the next level, right? When it comes to finances. Everyone is too serious. I didn't even ask for money yet. Everyone is rigid because we are talking about something uncomfortable, which I do understand. And that's the reason why I said money is very personal, right? I can give you advice to say, no, as opposed to buying groceries monthly, buy them weekly, but it might not work for you, right? So I wanted us to sort of practicalize what we want to achieve as women of substance. We want to achieve freedom. We want to create a legacy. We want to have the confidence and the power to make those decisions that require money. Because everything that we do requires money. The way you look today requires money. Okay? Am I lying? The way you look required money, right? So how do we create sustainability when it comes to our finances? What do we need to do? So I'm going to give you pointers that have worked for me. And I'm saying hyperlink to me. I'm not rich yet, it's coming. I'm not there yet, but I live a comfortable life. Very comfortable, right? But hyperlink to what I'm saying, and then hopefully it will create a channel for you to explore other things that will bring you the finances. Growing up, my mom always said, her dad, Mr. Gaius Masunga, used to say, he was an avid farmer, right? So they would be told, you need to go sell the produce. I don't know, maybe their kids were embarrassed, I don't know. So what I'm saying is, whatever it is that you are doing right now, if it's selling Forever products, if it's selling Avon, if it's baking, whatever it is, show it off. Don't be embarrassed by it. If it's acha, show it off. Show it off. Okay, so the first thing that I want to share with you is, I know this is typical, given my profession, is start investing. Start investing, even small amounts. Start investing. I realize that we have so many things available to us, or resources, or avenues available to us, but we don't utilize them. Some of you have bankers. You don't even know maybe their function. You don't utilize them to your advantage. Some of you at work, you have EWP, where there's financial advisors, where they are brokers. We are not utilizing those avenues. Some of you even have insurance, and you don't even know that your insurance companies offer these services where they can advise you on how best to invest, on how best you can start a portfolio for yourself in order to generate income, right? You will have a return on investment depending on your risk appetite, right? So I think it's very important, start small, start investing, even if it means you saying, okay, I'll join a stock fair, and the money I receive from that stock fair, I'm gonna invest it. That is still fine, but do something, start. Because unfortunately, maybe you becoming a millionaire won't happen overnight. For some people, yes, but maybe for us, it might not happen overnight. So you need to gear towards that dream that you have of becoming a millionaire, and ask yourself, how best can I start today towards me being a millionaire or billionaire? Let me not limit the bounds of your dream, right? Invest, right? There is unit shares, you can explore Ellen Gray. You don't have to even go deep and say, okay, maybe now I need to start trading. No, you can start small, right? Start small with what you have where you are. And then the second thing is building an emergency fund, which is savings. In practice, they say you should at least think of how much you earn, multiply it by 6. You should have at least 6 months worth of your salary in your emergency fund. But obviously, if you think of it now, it seems like it's a lot of money, right? So start small, start by that 100 rand and say, no matter how sad Ndlalala's story is, I'm not touching this 100 rands. No matter what no matter if I'm craving or what, I'm not touching this 100 rand, I'm saving it. Build that discipline, because when it comes to financial freedom, you also have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined, right? And then also, normalize talking about money. Normalize talking about money with your partner, with your, okay, maybe family, I don't know, family, right? But if like trusted people in your circle, about money with your mentors, right? Talk about money, because sometimes you find that whatever it is that's bothering you, I might have a solution. Not solution as in giving you money, but ideas to generate more money, right? So I think we need to normalize having a conversation about money. We need to normalize having a conversation about money, even with our partners, those who are married or let's normalize having a conversation about money. I like giving an example with my husband. He's a gamer. I find those things very useless, in my opinion. Like, why would you spend so much money on a CD to play a game? Or to get what I mean? But if we have open and honest conversation, I know what that brings to him and what value it adds to our family, right? The same way, probably wherever he is thinking, I don't understand why she needs to do her nails. What gave her nails? You know, but if we have honest conversations, say, no, this sparks joy. I like doing it. It makes me feel like a lady. This is what needs to happen. Have an income statement for your household. Know what's coming in, what is going out, what you need to invest, what you need to save. That is very, very, very important, having those conversations. And I believe even with our spiritual leaders, we can have conversations about money. As hard as it is, it's very, very important that you don't stay with your issues when it comes to the discomfort of money. Have open and honest conversations. And then a tricky one for me is that I was challenged last year. I think last year around this time I was traveling a lot, and my younger sister asked me, do you tithe? It was a simple question, but I felt attacked. You know, it was a very simple question, do you tithe? And then now she starts explaining this story. Yeah, I was watching this video, and then this person was tithing. They said they did this. I felt so attacked. I even called my mom, like, yo, you know, today, your daughter, what she asked me. But it's because I was not doing the right thing. That's why it felt like an attack at the time, right? So I was a tither of convenience. I'll call it that. When it was convenient for me, I would tithe, right? But when we read the word, it doesn't say when you feel like it. When you have enough surplus, tithe. the Bible is very clear. It's one of the Bible verses that I shared to say, introspect. Are you doing the right thing? I think the Bible even says faithfully. I think I'm still working on the faithful part. But the tithing I'm doing. But the faithful part wherein I'm saying, am I really giving my 10? That's the part that Halal is working on. But Mama will correct me if what I'm about to say is wrong. I'm saying start with whatever you have.